This is MW Podcast Volume 2. I'm Will.
Matthew.
And let's get this thing started.
What have you read, Will, this week?
What have I read? Killing Joke, which everyone knows is by Alan Moore. Joker by Brian Azzarello. Swamp Thing 1 to 4, the new 52. Scott Snyder. He's the new Alan Moore. First Wave, which is a series written by Azzarello. It's only 6 comics, and it's bringing back the pulp era of these heroes. The End Time storyline, which covers the Avengers and New Avengers. Pretty shit, I'll talk about that later. Nightwing, Volume 1. Wolverine and Deadpool, start of the Dark Angel saga, that's issue 42 and 43. And I'm rereading for the third time in 3 months, V for Vendetta, just because it's that awesome.
And I'm just finally giving you back after a couple of years. There's always that one. Anyway, yeah, I read the Batman 1 to 7, which is in the compendium thing that Will's lent me, the Court of Owls. It's a good read. Swamp Thing 1 to 11, which is brilliant.
We'll talk about it later.
We'll bum that later. Animal Man 1 to 4, mainly because I'm waiting for the rest. Aquaman 1 to 5. Suicide Squad number 1. Rorschach's Before Watchmen 1 to 3. I put 4 here, but it's 3. The Comedian number 1. Night Owl Before Watchmen again 1 to 4. Nightwing number 1. And The Flash number 1. That's pretty much all I've read this week due to lack of content.
You do realise, with that quick list, you've already spoken more than you did in the first podcast.
Yes, because I'm awesome like that.
Yes, I think I'm quite glad we moved out of this stomach, because I think at the first 2 milliseconds we mumbled a bit. But we're back. We're back in the swing of it now.
Oh yeah, well that's the way to do it. Well,
Is this all good?
Good. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on it? I'll go through your list and what you've just said, and we'll have thoughts. We'll discuss, and we'll get going with that. All right. We'll go with Killing Joke because we both read that one.
Oh, it's no one can deny it's brilliant. Tells you new dimension to the Joker. I just thought it was too short. And granted, it's only 3 issues. It was based on 3 issues, but to me, it's too short.
There's a lot more to the joke.
It gets you built up that you want it to last forever, and it doesn't.
No, it does seem to end fairly shortly. In a way, it does it. It's just it builds it up with the story of him becoming the Joker, his wife passing, his kid dying, him going a bit crazy, then becoming it for falling into the vat, and then he's dead. Well, he's not. He's dead inside, and he becomes the Joker, and then there's just a fight between him and Batman, and that's it. And it was. I wanted more.
See, the difference between that makes you slightly sympathetic to how he becomes the Joker. Kind of that really bad day tips him up. But then you read Brian Azzarello to the Joker.
See, I haven't read that this week. That's next week.
And this is one of the most sinister, more sinister than the Joker that you see by Heath Ledger. This guy rapes. That's one thing he does. I'm not giving too much away. He rapes. See, new level of cynicism.
Just say spoiler beforehand.
Just say spoiler. I'm not saying who he rapes. He just rapes.
So, yeah, in the Killing Joke, I felt sorry for the Joker because it gives you that thing of the only reason he is like he is because of what's happened to him. It's not just, oh, there's Batman and there's a psychopath trying to kill people, take over Gotham and stuff like that. Because, that's how it's portrayed in a lot of ways, that the Joker's just a madman, which he is these now. But
that's the reason by madness.
People don't just become crazy for the sake of it, really. Ooh, burping. Sorry.
We both read the Swamp Thing, so that'll be more of a longer discussion at a later date.
You got First Wave 1 to 6.
First Wave, yeah. This is a bit of a shout out to the pulp magazines type comics. So you've got Doc Savage, Spirit, and then you have and Batman with guns. But I know to people out there that's pretty cool. Then you obviously have Rima the Jungle Girl, Black Canary. A lot of these getting shout outs. But it's good. It's kind of like this scientist gone mad who has his idea of a utopian society. So I thought it was pretty good, and I brought all these characters together and onto this island.
Would you recommend it?
I would, for the nostalgic perspective, because it's like it harps back to the 1930s, 40s type look, and with the technology and stuff. And
Fair enough.
like I said, it's the nostalgia feel it brings back, and it's not telling you a story actually not heard before, because there's a few films and comics where they've looked at this mad scientist thing, but it's a good read and it's entertaining.
All right, we got The Joker by Brian
Azzarello. Again, fantastic. For me, I preferred it to Killing Joke, which is probably for a lot of people out there will be mad about it, but for me, it's how
21 of our listeners will.
All 21. It's how I picture the Joker. Maybe because it was slightly tainted by the Heath Ledger performance, but that's how I pictured Joker, and I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, fair enough. Then you've got the Avengers plus New Avengers End Time story. 8 of them, is there?
Yeah, issues 31 to 34 in both series. Basic storyline, the old multiverse universe theory, brilliant. Dialogue, but for me, it was so poor. The dialogue in it is terrible.
That's what I kind of felt with, as we spoke about it last week, was Earth 1. The actual look of it was brilliant in the thing. Dialogue let it down.
Well, there's 2 points I'll make. It's like they don't seem to get pumped up until someone says Avengers Assemble. It's just like,
Because, if I shout something randomly, you will get pumped up. Sandwich!
Yeah!
See,
we don't have nothing like that. If you're getting your ass kicked, you should be motivated enough not to get your ass kicked. And then I thought it was pretty formulaic in how they wrote it. They would have one serious scene and then one comedic scene, and the animation in 2 of them was pretty. I didn't like the animation in 2 of them. So pretty shocking.
Yeah, fair enough. Nightwing #1, which we both read this week.
I thought it was good. He's a bit more. You can see his youth and recklessness that comes with that.
Yeah, it's a nice intro to an actual Nightwing story, because he's past that Batman stage and he's back. Well, spoiler, he's gone back to the circus where his parents died, pretty much, and he's facing a past, but he already knows where he is in.
You see that reckless, he walks past a fight and he can't help but join in.
Yeah.
It's that kind of recklessness we're on about. Batman chose his battles rather than went in with guns blazing, but the same imagery.
That's fair enough. Wolverine and Deadpool, numbers 42 and 43.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the Dark Angel storyline, which for me is brilliant. Again, it goes back to more for the fans of them, goes back to the Apocalypse thing and the manifestation of Angel's alter ego Archangel. But it's pretty good, brilliant writing. Got a brilliant side story at the end regarding Deadpool in England. Again, that's probably up there as one of the best individual runs that I've read, because some of them, like I said, the Azzarello thing and Killing Joke was written. I read them in the graphic novel form.
Yeah, that's fair enough. And the iconic V for Vendetta.
Again, I mentioned this last week. I just love the graphic novel. It's one of those things where the 80s was a pretty important era for historical events, and there was a lot of if muts and babies. If something happened, would the rest of the world change? And it's kind of like this is someone's take on all those if muts and maybes of history happened. What would the world be like today? And then it's someone like the Guy Fawkes basically character trying to create that revolutionary spirit within the country.
Fair enough, really. That's literally what you've said you've read this week.
Yeah, I've probably read more. That's what I can't remember. All right.
Well, we do read so much well.
We try to. Okay, with you. So you finally read the Batman New 52 1 to 7.
It only took 2 weeks. 2 whole weeks. Yeah, no, it's a good book. It's an enjoyable read, as I say. You've got... It's more, as you say, it was more detective, as we spoke last week. It's more detective Batman for the first half of it, which would probably be the first 3-4 issues. And then it's more action Batman
more psychological touch
Yeah.
type thing. Yeah.
And like he becomes actiony, and then obviously there's him and he's in. I'm assuming when I read it, read it as an inner monologue. Like I've got to get out of here. Got to think. He's not speaking to himself, but he's thinking this whole thing. I'm probably wrong, but who cares?
What did you reckon? Because to me, we both said that this Courtaulds, the whole Talon thing, that kind of adds an extra bit of an excitement because it's something that we've not come across before in our reading of other Batmans. It's
not a popularised thing, is it? It's like it probably appears in a lot of. It's probably appeared in a lot of people who know comic books, but it's never appeared in a film. It's never appeared in anything
that we've read. Yeah.
That is, what's the word
popular.
I'm looking for? Yeah, popular in like to everyone. So it was nice to get a new villain to watch and read about, but we'll see how it is because I think they come back in the next 7.
The next, yeah,
because they've just been reanimated. Spoilers afterwards, but yeah, they've just been brought back to life, haven't they? So
a whole flock of Talons.
So that's going to be fun to watch him fight for his life, pretty much. So
we'll see because the second volume to that comes out on the 2nd of April for viewers in the UK. So if you're wanting it, buy it. It's on Amazon. And then you read Swamp Thing 1 to 11.
I'm going to bum this like crazy.
Yeah, so we'll leave that for a segment, and we'll come back to it because it's something that we both
Swamp Thing. Yeah,
that we both read, and I think it earns extra merit to talk about because
I think so a little bit because Batman is Batman. We know he's awesome. I just don't think Swamp Thing has ever got, from what I've read so far, I don't know that much. It's not got the credit it's probably deserved, but it's one of them things that, again, I don't think could work in pop culture pretty much. It's not easily made into films and stuff like that, so see how it is.
Good. So this is slightly related because they do interconnect. Animal Man 1 to 4.
It's a good read so far, pretty much. Anyone who hasn't read it yet, guy has the powers of animals. Who would have thought? And his Swamp Thing is pretty much I'll go back to Swamp Thing just a thing. It's the green versus the rot, which is like plants versus death. In Animal Man,
the rot's kind of like the in between, though, isn't it? It's kind of like
it's dead skin and dead anything really.
That's decay.
Yeah, decay would be the word. Probably that's a better word to describe it. But with Animal Man, it's the red of light, pretty much human life, animal life, and stuff like that. And through, I'm hoping I'm getting this right because I've either interpreted this completely wrong. There's like certain scenes where they're in what they class as the red. It's blood vessels in life and actual life itself instead of plant life and stuff like that. And he's got the power of animals and can speak to animals, while his daughter has the opposite side of the death side of it. And as I say, I've only read 1 to 4 so far, so
okay. Aquaman 1 to 5.
I really enjoyed this book. I read number 1, and the whole issue is people taking the piss out of Aquaman.
That's quite cool. You out of water? Want a glass of water?
You want a glass of water? It's just like, I can't believe we've been upstaged by Aquaman of all people. You feel kind of sorry for him, but it's a great read because he is pretty awesome in the book. In his, he's fighting people. He's just literally sticking his trident, thank you, into a lorry and flipping it over. He's brilliant in it, but it's still light-hearted because people are taking the piss out of him the whole way through.
If you're going to dress like that, who can blame you?
Well, people do think it's a shirt and not armour.
Okay. Suicide Squad. This is the one centering around Dr. Zaz. Is it Zaz?
I think it's Zaz. It looks like Zaz. Harley Quinn, Deadshot, yeah, and they're all on death row, and pretty much they're hired by the government to take out certain targets to try and win the freedom. Pretty much, I've read issue 1, and that's all I've read so far. But it's a good read.
When did that ever happen? Mass killer. If you can have your freedom, if you kill other people for us.
Their first mission is by killing an entire stadium of people. They're like, oh, we've got to kill like 3 people. It's like, no, it's more like 73,000.
Oh yay! Is that what you're like?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's a generally good read compared to some things I've read.
Okay, I know what I think I know what you're referring to there. Okay, I'm going to group these together because we did talk about them a lot in the
In the last one.
in the last one. So of the Before Watchmen series, I know you're a bit tired of it. Us hearing us talk about this. You read 1 to 4 of Rorschach. The first of the 1 to 3 of the Rorschach. As you,
Yeah, I got that wrong.
I do apologise.
It's only just come out, so I ain't got it yet.
You read the first of the Comedians, and you read the entire Night Owl series. So again, we talked about this in length in the last part, so we'll quickly fly by. We've already discussed that.
How dare you, Will?
Unless you want to mention anything particular.
I'm only going to mention the Rorschach and the Comedian one, mainly because we didn't have them in the last one. Rorschach, highly anticipated character because he's awesome. I wasn't a big fan myself. I'll let Will have a look at them. Wasn't a big fan of the actual comics because of... There wasn't that much to it. It was literally... I think I read all 3 in about 15 minutes. It was too fast. There wasn't enough dialogue. It was just a lot of pow. Him going in, him beating the shit out of people and then thing. The Comedian, I've only read number 1. Great. It's absolutely great so far. Just the backstory thing, him... It's kind of emotional because he works with whichever president... I can't remember right now off the top of my head. Clinton, I think it is, for some reason.
What war? Which? No, because this is all shot in the 60s and 80s and...
I'd have to have a look. Cannot remember off the top of my head.
Clinton, that's the thing.
Fuck you,
90s.
Will. Fuck you. Well, name the president around that time.
Nixon?
No.
Kennedy?
Could be Kennedy. Might be Kennedy.
Eisenhower?
No.
Roosevelt?
No. Possibly Kennedy. Anyway.
Johnson?
It's the guy that gets shot on an attempt on his life, and he gets shot randomly.
Kennedy got assassinated.
Will be Kennedy then, because he gets shot. Thank you, Will. Side subject. Yeah, it's kind of thing because he's friends with Kennedy in the whole thing, and like then
but
he gets shot.
He kills Kennedy, doesn't he?
No, he doesn't.
There's a picture.
Clearly, he doesn't kill Kennedy. We all know who killed Kennedy, Will.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, in the film, you see Kennedy getting shot, and then it goes to a shot of
he's in the background
picking up his gun.
Oh yeah, but we're not on about Rorschach. We're on about the Comedian.
Sorry, I mean Comedian picking up his gun.
Yeah, but he's not the one who kills him.
Was he working security?
Spoiler. Just quickly.
Was he working security?
No, he's just in the background. He's just there.
All right.
And
right, Flash, quickly decimate this.
It was shit. It wasn't shit. It was just, for me, it was boring. It was boring as hell, and I just don't recommend it to anyone who reads it. But you might enjoy it, and you might like the character, so go for it if you want.
Alright, so you see, that's it for what we've read. So
what's on your agenda for next week, Will?
Well, I've just bought 35 comics today, plus I've got Daredevil to read. So in that 35, I've got issues 1 to 6 of Green Lantern, Savage Wolverine, Uncanny X-Men, and something else, Volume 1. All New X-Men. And those are all Volume 1s. And then I've got a bunch of other X-Men comics, all like the different lines, quite a few mixing in with the Avengers versus X-Men story. Got a Deadpool comic, Head Incredibles Hulk. Incredible Hulk. I don't know why I was making that pure.
Anyway, Will, just keep talking. I'll be back in 1 second.
Have you got a pee already?
Yes, I'm sorry.
See, this is what you get when you try and drink to be more...
Just keep talking.
So, if it's just me keep talking, that means I can shout a bit to tell you a bit of abusive stuff about him, can't I? Matt has a man crush on... Let's pick a ugly character and hope he doesn't eventually listen to this. Tick-tock, 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 tick-tock. Alfred. There we go. He wants to have a sex menage a trois with Alfred and Aquaman. There we go. Hopefully, he'll never hear this. But if you're out there, enjoy that gold nugget.
I'm back. Sorry.
So yeah, I've got a lot of X-Men to read.
Fair enough. I was clearly here all the time, Will. Where we got up to?
What's on the agenda for next week? So what have you got to read next week?
Fair enough. I've got Animal Man. How many have I got? 6 to 12 currently.
What happened to 1 to 6?
I've read 1 to 4, but I don't have the other 2 at the moment. So I might have to read 6 to 12, mainly because I want to read Swamp Thing 12.
Right.
Really
okay.
quite badly. And then I've got, as soon as I've read 12, I've got the rest of them up to 18 until they've finished it to read. Other than that, I've got Heroes Volume 2, which I ain't read yet.
Gay.
It's good.
Gay.
You're gay.
So's your face. Anyway,
Your
back
mum's
to
gay.
back to thing. I've got an interesting topic point. Have I just mentioned X-Men? I think it's worth a question. Who's your favourite X-Men? Or characters from that time?
The favourite X-Man.
Most people have the same. Don't be.
It's always Wolverine for people.
Don't be scared.
I'm not going with Wolverine because he's not my favourite. He's kind of annoying. I'd have to either go for Nightcrawler, or when I was a kid, I loved Gambit. Gambit was great.
Cause the card thing.
He was just suave.
Suave.
He was like the James Bond of.
No, he wasn't.
Wait, it was the James Bond of Southern America, South America.
Oh God!
In the bayou, all that crap.
That's
Yes,
the worst analogy.
He was awesome. He was just like,
oh, okay, mine. Well, if I can't, I'm not allowed to say Wolverine.
no, because everyone bums Wolverine.
This is too obvious. Magneto, just because he's tortured soul type thing. I like the tortured souls.
And Fassbender did an awesome job on it.
Fassbender, yeah. So I'll go for Magneto.
That's fair enough. No, it's a fair enough topic, really.
Yeah, well, let's see. Our least favourite
What, X-Men?
X-Men. For me, the films ruined Rogue for me. She just turned out to be a whiny bitch.
Who played Rogue?
Anna Paquin. Or Paquin, or what you want to call her.
I can literally not remember Rogue in them films, which...
She's the whiny one, the one that touches people and...
Yeah, I know
all
who
funny.
Rogue is. I can't remember in the films. Well,
Basically, she turns out to be a whiny bitch. That's all you need to know.
that's fair enough.
I mean, now it's ruined it for me. Even though she's awesome in the comics, it kind of ruined it for me.
Scott is my least favourite.
What, Cyclops?
Yeah, he's just a dick.
It's just a dick. Is that just it?
It just seems like... Oh, I'm the leader of this, I'm the this. He just is an uninteresting character. At least a lot of them have got a decent backstory. He's just like, yeah, I almost died on a boat. Charles found me. Didn't find my brother. Now I'm with the X-Men. I have powers.
If you're a mutant, what would you be your power?
I'm not sure, actually. I'd like to go for Kurt Wagner's teleportation.
Teleportation. Yeah, I like that. I'd go for the teleportation.
Just for Kurt. I love Kurt.
I wonder if there was ever a mutant out there that just whose power was he had an extra large genitalia.
Probably not.
Use it as
is there anyone who can stretch and say...
Use it as a battering ram. Ramming speed.
You always have to go for the penis jokes, don't you?
It could be big boobs. I could have fun with them.
Yeah. Fair enough.
There's got to be other stupid powers. That's one of the sort of takes turds that are gold.
No, because they wouldn't put that into comics because it wouldn't sell. People would just be like, "Ugh," so they wouldn't have never said.
Comic value. This guy shits gold, literally.
Yeah, but that's the whole there is one. Xavier's got him strapped in a closet, and that's how he's funding this whole thing. Where does he get the money from? Except his family were rich.
He's bald.
But I'm sure half the money would have gone to his brother. Or at least most of it.
What, half-brother, Juggernaut?
Half-brother, yeah.
Get it right, bitch.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, so, other than that, for reading this week, I'm just literally going through my box of stuff that I've got and hopefully reading whatever I can, There's all sorts in there.
Why not? It's the way to go. It's the way to go.
Right, so we've come up to a section of what I've seemed to have on this pad of paper. Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, why Ryan Reynolds?
Why do we keep giving you work?
In superhero movies, you ruined Green Lantern. That film had potential to be awesome, and you ruined it. You're on my top 10 I want to kill list. Purely for ruining Green Lantern.
He just cannot act.
And Deadpool. Well, kind of fucked up Deadpool in the Origins.
As we spoke about earlier, he played a great character, but the look of him is a bit off.
He got the right, like the snappy repartee he had with people, and the one repertoire. Whatever, how have you pronounced it? And the one-liners, but he's just too pretty boy, and can't act.
So pretty much from this week on, we will be insulting Ryan Reynolds on a bi-weekly basis.
Until they drop him from the Deadpool movie.
Until they drop him from the Deadpool movie. And he is apparently going to... I think there's... No, it's just
Justice League. He's also going to do Justice League.
Is he going to Justice League?
Which is, again, we're going to... Until he gets dropped out of every superhero movie. Another one he fucked up. Blade Trinity.
I ain't seen Blade Trinity.
Granted, that film was the worst one of the three. But it was made a whole lot worse by Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, we'll pick a new thing pretty much each week by week until until this happens or doesn't happen. But well, just until we have realised. If you want to tweet us, it's MW Podcast. Oh, I always get this fucking wrong. MW Comic Podcast. That's the username, and let us know what you think. Any comments, we'll respond because
we haven't got many followers.
We don't have many followers. Please follow us.
Please. Okay, Swamp Thing.
Oh, Swamp Thing, I love you.
About. I don't know why I clapped, because in the view it just sounds like a big tap, but...
It's just a noise. He clapped.
Yeah.
Yeah, so far, as I say, I've read Swamp Thing 1 through 11, you've read Swamp Thing 1 through 4.
It's giving me nightmares, yeah.
It's giving you nightmares, which I just love. It's just a great thing. You haven't read 1 through 7 yet. 7 is finally the point where he becomes Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing, yeah.
Which, is...
Do you know, my personal Twitter, Alex Hammond has followed me.
He's imaginary, Will.
I don't care. He's followed me. You're just jealous.
Yeah, it's a great read.
It's brilliant.
Not only is the dialogue, because Scott Snyder's just really good at what he's doing currently on Batman, on Swamp Thing. He's doing some other things, but I can't think what they are.
He's doing a new Superman series.
Is he doing the
Superman Unchained, I think it's called.
Huh. Which, I'll go read because he's doing great work at the moment.
I'm tempted, just purely because I like Scott Snyder, to read it, but I really hate Superman.
I know you don't like Superman, Will.
I'm tempted to read Brian Azzarello's look at Lex Luthor. That's because, again, it's good to look at villains in a new way and see what they're like. And plus, it's Brian Azzarello. He's pretty cool to me. Apart from the Rorschach, apparently, but I'll give that my own opinion.
As I say, I'll give you it later on to read, but there just wasn't enough of it.
Fair enough. It's like the Killing Joke thing. It's too short.
It's not short. There isn't enough dialogue to warrant it. There are pages where it's just like 4 pages.
But Rorschach's not much of a talker, is he? He's more
but
turn up and then
beat the shit out of people.
Disgust me, you dirty whore type person.
True.
Yeah.
No, it's a great read. As I say, you haven't got up to the bit where he becomes Swamp Thing. No. But not only, as I say, with the dialogue, as I read online, when I first read it, was the actual paneling itself. You get a lot of comics where it's like panel, then another panel, then another panel. This is just random as hell. It's just like...
It took a moment to kind of be like...
You've got to figure out
this is for... Okay, I've got it.
It's kind of what you always see on like cartoons if they take like mushrooms and that. It's like waves of crap. It's just brilliantly done. They've hit the nail on the head for what I would like to see from something like that. And I really need to read Alan Moore's original Swamp Thing just to...
I like the story. I think the storyline, though, particularly the way they bring in new characters and explain the story and its complexity. It's some of them you can just read and it just all sinks in at once. It's something that you probably need to.
You might need to read a couple of times, at least the first few issues, to get your head round.
Yeah, because there's a lot happening with a lot of this guy does a So but it's just absolutely fantastic. Again, Scott Snyder. He never tweets me back. I keep tweeting him. You scared me to shit. But that for you must be a job well done. No,
well, he's got like 74,000 followers. You can't expect one person. He's probably getting tweet after tweet after tweet.
Yeah, but
tweet
you're forgetting one
after
thing.
tweet.
You're forgetting one thing.
Wait, I'm doing MW Comic Podcast. That's the one thing.
And I'm awesome.
Tweet after tweet after tweet. Yeah. Anyway. No, I recommend that book. Anyone who wants to read it, go for it. I've just got issue 18. I'm sad that it's finishing, but I'm kind of glad at the same time as me and Will discussed earlier today, you don't want something that just carries on until that point where you're just like, I cannot be bothered to read this anymore, because you lose interest, you lose a love for something that's quite good.
Yeah. So, is anything we should hark back to? Anything? No, so we should just go into more geek culture.
Well, I just want to give out a quick shout out, really, to Amazing Fantasy in Hull. Anyone who wants to go, just Google Amazing Fantasy in Hull. They've got a lot on offer that you can buy, back issues, new issues, and there's a lot thing. If they don't have it, tweet them. They will get back to you, and they will. They will get
tweet back in 2 minutes after.
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant with it. And I recently bought Swamp Thing 1 through. No, it wasn't 1. I bought several issues of Swamp Thing anyway. And I asked for a 13. They said they had a 13 in stock. They didn't. He got back to me saying, I haven't got 13. I needed a 7. I'll swap that in. No problem. And they sent it out. And it took literally 2 days for delivery. They're really good with things. So, Amazing Fantasy in Hull. Buy your comics from there.
Now we've talked about something. I want to go back to Wolverine Deadpool, because
go for it.
I was shocked at how brilliant this was, the whole multiverse. And again, I'm going to go into my understanding. I granted, if you took last week, we are startup nerds, so to bear with us. So this goes back to the mixed in the multi-universe type thing. But basically, we all know Apocalypse is was one of the first mutants and is big, all powerful. So basically, in this is why I like to kind of a rich story to it. Obviously, his spirit is within this Archangel, which is the alter ego of Angel. So the whole story is about this manifestation of this character. You go to multiple universe and you meet Wolverine, who in that universe is the heir to Apocalypse. Again, I'll probably give too much spoilers here, but you probably read this stuff already. You probably know half this storyline anyway because you've read.
Tweet your dismay at William.
Thank you. It's hard to discuss things without telling you a bit about the story.
And I said spoilers beforehand.
Okay, spoilers. Over. I just like the whole multiplayer, and it's just a rich story, like getting all these new characters, and it's something I was kind of worth saying, it's beginning of a new story, but it's great. But it is issue 42 of the so there's going to be a lot of back history, which I'm going to miss. Which there probably is. I probably missed out a whole lot of different variables within that story. But I kind of think we can pick up the 42, and with a few Google searches to Google one or two things, you can kind of, even not necessarily that, if you're a bit more just observe it, you concentrate on it, you'll be able to pick up the story. But I just think it was great. All the characters are very identifiable. They're all different. They don't just merge into one collective as such. And I thought it was just a brilliant read.
I'll have to make it off you sometime.
And especially issue 42, which is a 100-page special, and it still costs you £2.95.
You and that 100-page special last week, all the weeks.
It's like 2 comics in one almost.
That's awesome. 1 second. I'm just going to nick the microphone 1 second. Emma, you just finished The Killing Joke. What do you think?
I didn't like the ending.
Why not?
I don't know. I wasn't expecting that.
Fair enough.
Okay.
That is the thing. I didn't like the ending. How was the book in general?
It was alright.
It was all. Don't listen to her. She's crazy.
She'll prefer the Joker.
She prefers the Joker. Well, I'll get her to read it after I've read it.
Geek culture. Well, okay, this is the one that I'm starting purely to piss off him.
What?
Superman. What the fuck?
I don't see the big issue with
I
Superman.
hate Superman.
Yes, he's almighty. It's like listening to Wonder
Woman.
It's like reading Wonder Woman. She's a god and all this. She's all powerful. But yeah,
Takes the fun out of it.
it does until Green Arrow and Batman beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, but that's rare. They don't kill him. They just weaken him
Fair enough.
because he comes back, doesn't he? All the time.
He finally. Did you watch the rest of it?
Yeah,
It's a good watch.
it's a good watch, but he just ruins it. And there's a couple of things I don't get. Okay, him having sex with Lois Lane. Okay, surely when he ejaculates, it'd be like a bullet because everything about him's Superman.
But
And if the baby is half Superman, surely when it's kicking, it'll just kick straight through her because he has super strength.
see, I agree with you completely on the second point, the baby. The first point, the only time he has sex with her or has coitus, nerd, is when he's given up his powers. So that the first one doesn't have any.
Okay.
thing. But I agree with you completely on the second one.
But surely
As
at
soon as
some
she
point in
gets-
his adolescent
if she
life,
gets any sort of tan, he'll kick straight through the stomach, womb, in through the stomach, and she would die.
go back to the first point, okay? And surely in his adolescent days he had a wank, okay? Every adult,
Yes,
you know,
and there was plenty of holes in the house.
exactly. Like, bully, still telling me he's not done it and it's gone for a wall, not hit someone.
But no, because it would
It
have
would
gone
do.
up. He went upwards. He hit
Wait,
satellites and shit.
But if
No one gives a shit about
but
satellites.
if he was going, oh, on my hand, and just flicks his hand out.
No, because he's perfectly aware of his... and they're perfectly aware that the reason for all the holes in the house is because of this, because he's got to that point, and they picked him up from a crater, so it's alright.
It just fucking pisses me off.
I know you don't like Superman, Will, but still...
Okay, that'll be about next week when I thought of something else that pisses me off about Superman.
Fair enough. We'll carry on with that segment every week, apparently.
I bring it alone. I fight the cause for all those people who hate Superman.
There's people who hate every superhero, though.
Well, let them talk. I'm talking about my hatred.
Tweet us. MW Comic Podcast.
And this brings us on to our Injustice battle.
The Injustice battle.
I'll let you round this up.
This week we have the Injustice battle that's obviously brought by the creators of Injustice. There is Superman versus Sinestro.
Okay. So, what's your argument here? I'm going Superman because he ruins everything.
I'll go with I'm going Sinestro.
Explain.
He could just make an unbreakable cage, and that's it. He just
You
starts.
have to make it solid walls all around for it to be possible.
Why?
Because Superman, using his eyes, go through the bar, cut off his finger, which will disable the cage initially until he finds his finger to put the ring back on it and another finger.
He doesn't need a solid wall. He could just literally make a cage and then put a wall in front of him.
Superman will really cut off the finger. By the time he's put the ring on a new finger, Superman will have rushed up and punched him already.
No.
Yeah. This is annoying. Superman
I
wins
agree
everything.
with Superman's unlimited amount of seemingly good power, but if we all remember Frank Miller's, he did kind of look like a zombie in that last bit where he gets blown up by the bomb. That's a good bit.
Until he lands on the
plants and sucks in the powers. Come on, it's a great book. It's a great.
Yeah, but not because of him.
Okay, fair enough.
They could have cut that part out and it still would have been good.
They couldn't have cut him with the fight. You need to see that fight. That fight is epic.
You could have cut it with the fight. You don't need. Well, I don't know.
No,
He's
'cause-
annoying. He's just gay. Just have the story with the Joker and forget Superman.
Fuck you, Will. Anyway, I'm going Sinestro.
I'm going Superman, and most people out there will agree with me. I'm putting it that way. They will do.
Yeah, the votes are currently too many in Sinestro's. Superman's favour.
Told you. See, he's super quick. So even before you can imagine something in Sinestro to build, Superman will be there to hit him already. He's too quick.
The Flash would kick his ass then. If you're going with speed.
But then you could see him from like over there. You go, cold breath will slow him down. So the time it comes to him, it'll be at a speed which you can punch him.
Does he have freeze breath, Will?
Yeah.
Really? Does Superman have freeze breath?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See? Know you're a Superman before you try and
I don't give a shit
Ow.
about Superman now.
be the devil advocate about
Even though
it.
I have got a Superman #1 coming. Woo. Not the
Faggot.
really $2 million issue of the New 52.
Just a quick sneezer.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't really have any other topics. I don't know if you do at all.
Just keep culture. Just keep talking. Don't need to end it because it says 40 minutes.
I never said it because it has 40 minutes. I literally don't have anything else on this notepad of notes.
Well, we'll talk. We'll talk about something that we talked about earlier. Then, okay. Do this 2 point. What you can currently afford. What's the most you would spend on a comic? And if money was no object, what would you spend, and which ones would you want?
If money's an object, we're talking with the money I can probably afford now, it would be £100 in that month. I would kind of like the issue of Spider-Man with the death of Gwen Stacy in it. The death of Green Goblin, you know. It's one of them issues where I remember watching it on a TV. That was Mary Jane Watson that died. But, you know, the death of that kind of...
Spoiler.
Yes. Yes, if you didn't watch the TV show, I'm 22, when you were a child, at about 13, 12, that age, spoiler. I'm sure there's like a 10-year, thing here.
I don't care. Some of it's like, well, reading things are like 20 years old. Don't think we're not the only ones out there starting picking up at an age which we should really be
Growing up.
growing up or more involved in it.
And if money was no object, I would love... Well, it's the obvious one. You'd either want a Detective Comics 38, first appearance of Robin, because, you know, it's Robin. A Batman #1, first appearance of Joker.
Yeah, that's one I would have. See, I'd go for things that are more nostalgia rather than anything. Things that, for me, jump into my mind quickly. So, first appearance of Blade, which I believe is in the Tomb of Dracula volume.
Tomb of Dracula.
Issue 7, I think, but I'm probably wrong with the issue number, but I know it's Tomb of Dracula.
It's Tomb of Dracula. You want the Punisher one?
Punisher one, because that's a reasonable one. That's only about £40. So, if money was no issue, yeah, you'd probably go. Anyone would go for the first appearance of Joker.
Come on, Detective Comics 38. Well, Robin.
No one cares about Robin.
But it's
iconic.
Robin. He's
It's
the
iconic,
iconic thing.
I'd go for the deaths of Robin. I like to get the collect ones where the Robin dies.
What, Death in the Family?
Well, that's the latest Robin.
No, Death in the Family. Not Death of the Family. Two different things.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know. I was like that one. Death in the Family is where Jason Todd, yeah. He doesn't die, but they believe he's dead and then becomes Red Hood. You know, that death. That is the death of Death in the Family. Spoilers.
So, yeah.
Afterwards.
So we'll go for that. Is anything more? I don't know. I think some of the Iron Man stuff. I'll probably go for first appearance of Iron Man, something like that, because Iron Man was
X-Men #1.
X-Men #1.
Pretty much #1s. Then first appearances of the.
You've got characters you hold akin to. See, again, X-Men. And then watching the cartoons of.
I loved X-Men.
X-Men.
Batman.
Iron Man.
I wasn't a massive fan of the Iron Man.
There was other ones, but there's the ones that I remember watching. There was the Hulk.
The Hulk.
That's the one I'm talking about. It's not necessarily. It's not a collector's item, but it's something I'm looking for. Planet Hulk, because that looks like a bit like Hulk/Spartacus type storyline.
So if you want to send us a free copy
in space, so it's kind of cool. I was trying to mix the words Hulk and Spartacus there, but it kind of just fell.
Hulkus.
So yeah, it doesn't really sound right, does it?
No, it doesn't sound great. If you do want to send us a free copy of that,
Sparta Hulk, we'll go for that.
Sparta Hulk.
Why don't we think of that?
Sparta Hulk.
You tried to make it sound like something to do with semen, didn't you?
No, I just thought of, instead of saying Sparta Hulk, I would just split it into one whole word instead of having two hyphenated words.
Okay.
God, well.
Fuck you.
Yeah, no. Other than that, as I say, me personally, I don't have anything else to talk about.
What happened to this other? What? Yeah, you know what for the accelerators that come out in March.
I need to buy that. The accelerators. American comic. Not obviously it's the first issue, so it's not big over here. Time traveling pair, load of different powers. It should be all right, you know.
That's out on Blue Juice Comics.
Blue Juice Comics.
So see, we won't just talk about DC and Marvel. I'll bring in Blue Juice.
Blue Juice. Everyone. Zombie Cage Fighter.
Zombie Cage Fighter. That's the ones that look good too. It'll be interesting to see what the first one's like.
I would like to just read that because apparently there isn't that much cage fighting in it.
We'll see what happens. It's probably.
Or is it? No, there is cage fighting. There's not that many zombies.
It's written by former UFC middleweight Nate Quarry. For those who follow the sport out there. Yes, he didn't win.
Dead silent.
He didn't win any. He didn't win any belts, but he was in one or two exciting fights. And it was in the first series of reality series of the Ultimate Fighter, which again.
Isn't that like up to series 17 or something?
Yeah.
And it hasn't even been running that many years.
I think the first one was 2005.
How is it that many series?
Do multiple series a year.
Oh, it's Big Brother then.
Yeah, but this one is kind of like people actually have talent. It's
not just people who don't have talent. Clearly.
Okay, you're trying to think of some witty retort there.
There was no witty retort.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So again, we need to think. See, you're saying there's nothing to talk about. We're watching some films tonight. We need to talk about. We need to talk about them. We're watching Spawn, people. Spawn, remember that classic?
The original Swamp Thing movie, the first one, and Total Recall, the readaptation,
reimagining of the
with Colin Farrell. Is it Colin Farrell?
Hold on.
Yes, I got a name right.
Yeah, go back to Spawn. I can't believe the little clown devil minion type thing. The guy who played him did the voice of Sid the Sloth in Ice Age.
Because the Clever Down Minion and Sid the Sloth are awesome.
There we go, people. Sid the Sloth and the Devil.
Awesome. So, worship the devil, worship Sid the Sloth.
I kind of think that brings a natural close to it because we're running out of things to say, and you can probably tell by the last minute that's been the case.
Yeah, we don't want to ramble.
So, thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week.